Dos, tres. Muy buenos días tengan todos ustedes. Les vamos a pedir, por favor, tomar asiento. Vamos a dar inicio a esta nueva jornada de este día. Muy buenos días tengan todos ustedes. Bienvenidos nuevamente a una nueva jornada. A todas las delegaciones que se encuentran con nosotros, bienvenidos nuevamente. Espero que este calorcito de El Salvador le haya sido de mucho agrado para ustedes. Vamos a dar inicio a esta jornada de este día y la sesión iniciará con el tema Tendencias en macrorregiones, sistema de pensiones, el reporte de pensiones de China, por nuestro panelista, permítame. La sesión iniciará con el tema siguiente, tendencias en macrorregiones, sistema de pensiones. Sistema de pensiones, 2, 3, probando. ¿Está bien? 2, 3, esta es una prueba de sonido. Ok. La sesión iniciará con el tema tendencias en macrorregiones, sistema de pensiones, el reporte de pensiones de China. Nuestro panelista que tendremos aquí para este tema es Zheng Bingwen y es director del Instituto de Estudios Latinoamericanos de la Academia de China de Ciencias Sociales. También tendremos las políticas públicas en las pensiones y la justicia intergeneracional en la Sociedad Adulta Europea. Nuestro panelista será Pieter Vanhuysse, del Centro Europeo para la Investigación y las Políticas en Bienestar Social. Nuestro moderador, que va a estar con nosotros en esta ocasión llevando la logística de estas ponencias, será el señor Guillermo Saint-Laurent, vicepresidente de la ISSS y director general de las Cajas de Seguro Social de Panamá. Antes de dar inicio a estas ponencias, les leeré un poco el perfil profesional de Guillermo Saint-Laurent. Es ingeniero industrial egresado de la Universidad Tecnológica de Panamá y estudios de maestrías en la USMA y de la Universidad de Nueva York. Inició su carrera profesional en IBM, donde ocupó importantes puestos a nivel nacional, como regional de Centroamérica, el Caribe y Nueva York, en donde alcanzó el máximo cargo como gerente general del IBM y GBM. Para el 2007 formó parte de la Junta Nacional de Escrutinio para el referéndum de ampliación del canal. A partir del mes de octubre del 2009, ocupa la posición de director general de las Cajas de Seguro Social de Panamá. Dejaré con ustedes a Guillermo Saint-Laurent, quien dirigirá esta ponencia y hará la presentación de nuestros panelistas que este día estarán con nosotros.
Bueno, muchas gracias y buenos días a todos. Espero que la noche haya sido placentera y hayan podido disfrutar un poco de esta gran ciudad y este gran país, El Salvador, que nos ha acogido muy bien. Bueno, hoy me toca a mí ser moderador de esta presentación. Ayer pudimos ver varias presentaciones importantes de cómo las migraciones de las personas a los distintos lugares impactaba obviamente el sistema de pensiones. También vimos el trabajo de la mujer y la inclusión de la mujer en el trabajo y todo el impacto que tiene que ver con los sistemas de pensiones y la productividad de las empresas. Hoy vamos a ver un poco más el tema de la vejez, del adulto mayor y el impacto también que tiene no solamente en el sistema de pensiones, sino también en el sistema de salud y en la productividad. Hace poco conversaba con los panelistas y esas son situaciones que hay que ponerle mucha atención y obviamente después de estas presentaciones yo creo que vamos a tener una mejor idea de lo que acontece tanto en la región europea como en China. Imagínense comparar Panamá con China, donde en Panamá somos 3.5 millones y en China son 1.300 millones de personas de habitantes. Así que yo creo que va a ser interesante, más o menos lo mismo, pero manejar o administrar un país o tomar decisiones en un país de 3.5 millones, de 6 millones, de 5 millones, no tiene nada que ver con tomar una decisión importante para un país de 1.300 millones de personas. Así que vamos a escucharlos, vamos a aprender y déjenme precisamente hacer las introducciones de ambos panelistas.
Perdón, antes de continuar, discúlpame. Se les ha pasado un papelito para que puedan ustedes formular sus preguntas. A tener listas las preguntas según el tema que se va desarrollando, se levanten el papelito y nuestras edecanes van a pasar a retirarlo para poder posteriormente pasárselo a nuestros panelistas. Gracias.
Bueno, aquí a mi izquierda tengo Pieter Vanhuysse, estuve practicando la presentación, la forma de pronunciarlo, así que espero que lo haya dicho correctamente, ¿no? Graduado como doctor en Ciencias Políticas, egresado de la Escuela de Economía y Ciencias Políticas de Londres, Inglaterra, cursó la maestría Política y Política Europea, máster en Economía, magna cum laude, certificado por la Academia Filosófica, magna cum laude. Actualmente es director adjunto, director de investigación en el Centro Europeo de Políticas de Bienestar e Investigación. Previo a esta posición fue investigador senior y analista político en el Centro Europeo de Viena, profesor adjunto de Política y Políticas de la Universidad de Haifa, conferencista en Israel, Instituto Universitario Internacional de Estudios Europeos y el Instituto de Sociología Internacional en Gorizia, Italia, y Junior Resident Fellow en el Instituto de Estudios Avanzados del Colegio de Budapest, Hungría. Entre sus investigaciones con la teoría y la política de los estados de los aspectos políticos y la política de conflicto generacional y envejecimiento de la población, la política microsocial. Bueno, sabemos que tiene un currículum muy amplio y estoy seguro que nos va a poder ilustrar y nos va a poder mostrar un poco los estudios y lo que está sucediendo en la región de Europa. A mi derecha tengo Zheng Bingwen, es director del Instituto de América Latina Estudios, ISSS, Academia China de Ciencias Sociales, CAS, tutor de doctorado, ganador de un premio especial del Gobierno Central de China, miembro de la Comisión Consultiva del Ministerio de los Recursos Humanos y Seguridad Social de China, profesor de la Universidad Renmin de China, Universidad de Wuhan y Southwestern University de Finanzas y Economía. Desde julio de 2004 ha sido nombrado director del Instituto de Estudios Latinoamericanos, CAS. Se especializa en economía y estudios comparativos de sistemas de seguridad social y sus teorías. Ha publicado más de 200 artículos en revistas académicas como las Ciencias Sociales de China, Journal of Economists, Economía Mundial y Política, etc. También es autor y coautor o monografías de los campos pertinentes, su descubrimiento y la investigación de contribución definida nacional, NDC, sistemas de pensiones, es de la importancia más innovadora de China. Le damos la bienvenida a los panelistas. Cada uno expondrá alrededor de 35 minutos. Eso es lo que hemos hablado. Así que bueno, empecemos entonces con el primer moderador. Bienvenidos. I think that's Chinese. You.
I go first?
You. Yeah, you go first. And welcome. Yeah.
Where's the remote? Ladies and gentlemen, it's my great pleasure to stand here to present something about the China's social security outline. And first of all, I should express myself the great attitude for the invitation by the General Secretary Martinez of CISS. And for me, it's just as what the chairperson described. I come from China, and I'm the Director General of the Institute of Latin American Studies at CASS, CASS, Chinese Academy of Social Sciences. And also I'm the Director General of the CISS, Center for International Social Security Studies. So I got the two positions, and I used to have done my research on social security for some dozens of years, but I used to be named as a director of the Institute of Latin American Studies only 9 years. So security research first, and then Latin American research. So I don't speak Spanish, I'm sorry, so I have to speak English. And I did this PPT for many days in Beijing. Even when I transfer in Amsterdam airport, I change my PPT because, to my mind, it's very important for you to know China, because China is very huge. During the past 10 years or 20 years, there's a great changes taking place in China. Also, the social security framework has changed a lot, and we set up the greatest social security of the world. And also, we have many challenges ahead for China. So it's, for me, it's a challenge too to introduce China's social security system. But anyway, I try my best to outline China's social security. Today, I will present in 6 points as below. First, a brief history of a pension evolution. Second, current situation and achievements in pensions. Third, 3 branches of pension assets in China. And fourth, dilemma and challenges in rural system. And fifth, 5 dilemma and challenges in urban schemes. And last one is a new idea about pension reform in China. I go first. As you know, New China was born in the year 1949 as the year when CISS was born in the same year. And the People's Republic of China appeared, and the Republic of China was gone to Taiwan. This is a year very important for the modern history of China. And in the year 1941 to 1965, this is the first period of social security in China. In this period, China follows the Soviet Union. So we have only labor insurance system according to the law 1951. That's to say, the enterprises contribute 30% as payrolls to the insurance, and among which 30% must be handed over to the headquarters of the trade union, All China Federation of Trade Union, ACFTU, in order to set up all China social pooling managed by the national level. This is a national fund. And 70% left to the lower levels of trade union in enterprises in order to set up a labor insurance funds. So at that time, the operator of pension system is trade union, not government, but trade union. And as you know, in China, trade union systems belong to the party system. And the party system is dominant in every areas of China. So in nominal, the pension system was operated by trade union anyway. This is the first period. And the second period is the period of 1966 to 1978. This is a cultural revolution, the Great Cultural Revolution. Perhaps many of you know China's this period history. At that time, the public pension system was broken down. It never worked because the trade union system was bankrupt, paralyzed. And trade union system in all China totally paralysis. It did not work at all. So labor insurance, including pension system, is just stopped at that time. And the next period is 1978. This is a period, this is the very beginning, the first year of reform and open up. And from the year 1978 to 1993, China just reformed its state-owned enterprises and economic systems and preparing to set up a public pension system. At that time, Chinese people went out abroad to visit many countries in order to know the outside world, in order to set up its own with specific features of public pensions. At the time, perhaps there were altogether 3 targets of countries. One of them is Chile. The second one is Singapore, Central Provident Fund. The other one is Sweden, European models. And at that time, some senior officials like Zhou Xiaochuan, who now is the governor of Central Bank of China, they are the experts on pensions. So they went to Chile, Singapore, to know the operation, to know the advantages of Chile models. And then when they come back in the year 1993 to 1997, China set up a model half to half. Half is DB coming from Sweden. The other half is DC coming from Chile model. So we just put 2 models together into one. And the individual counts is DC, defined contribution, and social pooling is pay as you go. Social pooling contributed by the enterprises. This is a model of hybrid model, mixed model. And the year 1997, this is the first year for Chinese public pension. It was born for the public pension. At that time, 11% of wages coming from the employees into individual accounts, and 17 contributed by the enterprises, employers coming into social pooling. This was the birthday of this hybrid model, and the only model of the world. In the year 2001, George W. Bush, the president of the United States, he just launched a commission of Social Security to set up 3 plans. All these 3 plans is a hybrid one, following China's the combination of individual accounts with social poolings. But at the last 5 years later, it was abolished by the public medias. So now this model is the only one, unique one of the world. Employees contributed 8, and employers contribute 20. So 3 should come from social pooling into individual accounts. But we did not learn Chile, that the government did not resolve the transaction cost. For this of the world, there are 3 methods to resolve transaction costs. The first one is issuance of recognition bonds, like Chilean governments. When Chilean government set up the individual account system, and Chilean government issued recognition bonds in order to, and the second one is to privatizing the state-owned enterprises, and the third one is by financial transferring. So the individual accounts in China are non-financial. They were empty at all. There's no money at all. And in the year 2001, China began to carry out the pilots to finance individual accounts by Zhu Rongji government. And the individual accounts at the time in Liaoning province. I am from Liaoning province. Liaoning province is located in the northeast of China. By different levels of governments, central level, provincial level, and local level, and perhaps 3 levels of governments just transfers their financial to subsidize their individual accounts. And the 8% of individual accounts at the time was financed by 5%. 5%. Yeah. For the 5%, it is subsidized by 3 levels of government. And in the year 2003 and 2004, Jilin and Heilongjiang provinces joined in, but it is found it is difficult to finance. This is Liaoning. This is Liaoning province. It was pilot in the year 2001. This is Jilin and Heilongjiang province in the year 2003 and 2004. And up to now, they are all together 13 provinces on pilots to finance their individual accounts. This is the individual accounts, the situation. In the year 2000, the central government had to revise the policy. Scale of individual accounts decreased from 11% down to 8% in order to relieve the difficulties of the financial transfer. So employees contribute 8%, and now all the 8 shaped the individual accounts. There's no need to transfer from the social pooling, from the enterprises' contributions, cut off 3% added to the individual accounts. No, now from the year 2005, no. So the employees contribute 8. We don't need to cut off 3 from employer contributions into individual accounts. And the year 2009, new rural pension system was set up. Before that, we had an older pension scheme in rural areas, but they could not uphold because this is a DC. This is a DC. The peasants just saved, just deposit in their individual accounts, and the return rate, investment return rate, is very, very low. It is less than 1 or 2%. So the replacement rate is going down year by year. Investment system is very backward. Only deposit in the bank. So the older rural pension did not work at that time. So China's pension system is growing rapidly from non-existence to existence, from smaller to bigger. Now it is becoming one of the biggest public pension of the world. And now we are relying on this system more and more heavily, and it has contributed a lot. During the year 1997, in the Eastern Asian financial crisis, we happened to reform the state-owned enterprises into modern enterprises governance structure. And the second time is during the crisis, global financial crisis of the year 2008. The public pension policy became one of the social policies which accompanied the economic policies to be against the economic crisis at that time. Now, this is the first point. And the second point is the current situation and achievements in pension. Now, 15 years later, since 1997, altogether we have 3 schemes by the end of the year 2012. The first one is a public sector scheme. The second one is rural pension system. The third one is urban pension system. Altogether, the 3. A public sector scheme, it means it covers public servants and undertakings. All these, the 2 departments in China covers the population of totally 30 million people in China. They did not join the reform of public pension. They just remained in the traditional fiscal pension system before the reform year 1978. So this is a general situation, and there's a gap between the public sector, public servants and undertakings, and private sector. So now in China, the social stability is not very good. We can say it's too bad. There are so many reasons, and one of the reasons is the gap of the public sector and private sector. So this is the first scheme for China's public pension systems. Because 15 years ago, they did not join the urban scheme. They did not join the reform. So they have become now the hot focus in the media and website before NPC and the CPPCC. NPC is a People's Congress. Once a year it was held, convened in every March among top 3. Social security is among top 3. And they coming from the fiscal. Employees do not need to contribute at all. So this is a not modern pension system. And the second one is a rural pension system. It was set up in the year 2009. The structure is a hybrid, almost equivalent to the urban ones. That's to say, individual accounts plus social pooling mimic the urban ones. Now the individual accounts pension, I'll introduce the outline of individual accounts pension. The contribution formula is that we have altogether 5 grades of contribution. The first grade is the contribution of 100 Chinese yuan per year. And the second grade is 200 yuan per year, and up to grade 5, 500 yuan, Chinese yuan per year. And peasants contribute by the option of one of the 5. As a parent, he can choose one of the 5 grades. Unfortunately, 85% of peasants have opted grade 1. That's to say only 100 yuan per year. 100 yuan means less than $20, less than $20 a year. So it's very limited, very, very limited. And benefit formula is that all the assets of individual accounts should be divided by the coefficient 135. Here, 135 means 139 months. It means 11 years and 6 months, which shows the life expectancy at 60. But in fact, this is a very old life table. Now the average life has already surpassed 11.5 years, but 75 years old. It means it should be increased up to 180 months. Is older, and investment system is very old. All in local banks as deposits with less than 2% interest rate. It's very low. It's very low. This is a individual account system. This is individual account pension. The second part for peasants is a social pooling pension contributed by transfers from central government. And benefit is a flat rate. In the year 2009, 55 yuan per month given by the state, given by the central government. The entitlement is the aged at 60. So let me summarize the rural pension system. We have the contributors in rural areas. This is the number of contributors. It is covers nearly 6% of the total population, total economic active people. And pensioners in China, in rural areas, now is 130 million. It covers the whole population. So first atom plus 2 atom, it is a total participant. Now we have 443 million people. And total income of the year 2012 is 182 billion yuan. This is Chinese yuan, among which the contributions income is only 60 billion yuan. So very, very limited. And total expenditure for the year, for this year, is 115 billion yuan. Oh, thank you. Now for the rural areas schemes, the accumulative reserve is more than 230 billion yuan. This is the general outline for rural area schemes. Now let's introduce the urban pension scheme. And the population distribution, now the urbanization rate is more than half of the population. It means half of the population living in urban areas, but there is a household registration system, namely 户口, and perhaps many people know China has a 户口 system. 户口 system, perhaps China is the unique country of the world. And it means if you live in countryside and you have a 户口, countryside 户口, you could not move to the urban areas. If you move there to work there, you just live there in a temporary time. But all the public services provided with you is in rural areas. That means in your hometown. When you retired, you have to come back to your village, to your hometown. So this is 户口 system. For urban 户口, there's only 36% of the population. So rural 户口 is more than 60% of the population. Total, we have there are 1 billion population here. This is a detailed the situation of the population in China. And for this public pension scheme in urban areas, the contribution formula is that the employees' contribution rate is 8%, going into individual accounts. This is a DC, fully funded system. And for employers' contributions, they contribute 20%, coming into social pooling. This is a pool, a common pool with assets contributed by the employers. And the benefit formula is that individual accounts pension plus social pool pension. This is a basic pension, public pension in China, in pension areas. And for individual accounts pension, it means the accounts assets, total assets, at the retirement point, it should be divided by 139. And social pool pension, it is 1 year. It means 1 year contribution. You contribute 1 year, and you will get 1% of the local average income per capita at retirement. So the minimum contribution year is 15. So at least when you retired, you may get 15% percentage of the local income average per capita. Investment strategy is very backward. All the assets deposits in local banks. The third one, I'm going to introduce 3 branches of pension assets in China. First one is sovereign pension funds. It was born in the year 2001, independent, namely as SSF, Social Security Fund, run by a national council of Social Security Fund with more than 200 staff. It is financed by annual transfer from the central government. In the year 2001, only 20 billion yuan, but by the end of last year was 1.1 trillion yuan. Investment strategy is diversification, including equities and so on. Yeah, this is the best one in China. And by the end of last year, the total assets of SSF is 1.1 trillion yuan. And last year, investment return rate is 7%. And from the year 2001 to the last year, the average investment return rate is 8.29%. It's good. Anyway, it is good. This is the first one. The second level, the second one is occupational plans set up by employers. It means employer plans. Enterprise in China, we call it AE, A annuity, E enterprises. It is this English translation given by OECD and by the World Bank. So now we use this as the very popular international terms. Enterprises annuity. It was born in 1991, but in 2004, it came into a real investment diversification and a trust fund with DC scheme. So the year 2004 was its real birth date. In this year, participants was 7 million people, 22,000 enterprises, reserves with total 50 billion yuan. But in last year, by the end of last year, the participants is more than 18 million. 15,000 enterprises. And cumulated reserve total 450 billion yuan. The assets. Investment rate, return rate is annual average 6% since the year 2005. There are 4 different actors. It is the design of this institution is very complicated, like something like yours, but it's yours ATP, AFP. But it is more complicated than that in Latin American countries. We have 4 different actors: fiduciary, trustee, account keeper, and custodian, and investor. So it is a very complicated. And the third one is a public, basic public pension assets. Public pension assets in downtown and in urban, in rural areas. This is the assets more than 2,000 billion in urban area. In rural area, more than 200 billion yuan. Altogether, urban area plus rural area altogether more than 2,500 billion yuan totally. This is the whole. And fourth, I should hurry up. Dilemma and challenge in rural areas. There are some challenges. The first one is the incentive is too bad. The individual accounts pension could be nothing with 50 years minimum contribution because the lower return rate. And social pooling pension coming from the financial transfers, there is no equivalence principle contribution with the benefit. Secondly, financial burden is becoming bigger. With the population is aging, dependency ratio is higher. The burden must be bigger than ever before and catch up with the European countries. The aging trends. Thirdly, funds is too scattered. Funds scattered all over China, about more than 2,000 units at lower municipalities. Fourth, replacement will certainly lowered. You know, this is the per income per capita, a pure income capita in rural areas, growth rate. You may see the average is 8%. It's very fast. So if the deposit return rate less than 8, and the assets will be shrinked, will be lowered. Now this is the population of China is aging rapidly. You may see China, in the year 2010, China 60 years old as the total population. In the year 2007, oh, yeah. But in the year 2021, 21, it's more than 7%. And in the year 2049, more than 33. 33. Compared with Africa, Asia, Europe, Latin America, and North America, China is growing more faster than any, than almost any, is higher than European on average. And compared with the BRICS, you may see in the year 2021, it's okay. China is less than these, now BRICS, this is a G7, less than G7. But in the year 2049, it's higher than half of the G7 countries. And compared with BRICS, China in the year 2049 is higher than any of the other 4 countries in BRICS. Of course, compared with the selected countries in Asian areas, China's population aging trend is much serious than the other countries. And the fifth, I would like to outline the dilemma and challenges in urban areas. In urban scheme is the main one in China. We just focus on it. The institutional goal, there are several issues, challenges. The first one is the institution goal is far from being achieved. This goal is a partially funded scheme, because the empty individual accounts are empty. This goal has not been achieved, has not been mature in the near future because of the huge transaction costs, and the scale of empty individual accounts is growing. This is not DC fully funded one, nor NDC. We have funds, but we could not finance the empty individual accounts. Let me see. Let me describe the detail, the scale of individual accounts. This is the scale. This is the scale, billion yuan. More than 900 billion yuan in the year 2006. But in the year 2011, it grows to more than 2,000 billion yuan. 2,000 billion yuan. Its growth rate more than 26%. And the finance assets from the year 2001 piloted from Liaoning province here in the year, no. I'm sorry. Here. In the year 2007, it is only 78 billion yuan. But in the year 2011, it is growing up to 270 billion yuan. And the scale, but in the meantime, the scale of empty individual accounts is growing more fast than financed assets. You may see in the year 2007, it was only 1,000 billion. But in the year 2011, it is doubled. Now, accumulated reserve for the individual accounts credit. Now it is nearly 2,000 billion yuan. 2,000 billion yuan. Here. This is the individual count situation. The second one is the second issue is management level is too low. It's too low. We call the social pooling level is too low. It is managed at the level of only county levels and the city levels and the township levels. For the whole China, we have altogether 31 provinces, but only we have 4 provinces. It is achieved in provincial level management. So the management level is very, very low. It's very, very low. So when people come across from this province to that province, the public pension is not portable. It's not portable. If they move to other provinces, there are portability loss. The third issue is that return rate is too low. For that, central investment system could not be set up. 15 years ago, there were some billions of funds as a whole nationally, but now it is over 2.6 trillion yuan. And bank deposit investment strategy remained unchanged. Return rate has been less than 2% on average. It is under the inflation rate, 2.47% on average during the past 10 years. So it has been devaluated for the past 10 years. If we take SSF, a social security fund in China, investment return rate, as a reference object, there are small pension funds have suffered shrinkage by almost 1 trillion yuan during the past 10 years. There's a great loss. And central collection investment by diversification could not be realized because if the scattered funds collected centrally by the central government, it is facing cons against from the local government because of the local interests and benefits. If let local governments invest as investors, it is difficult for them to set up a better corporate governance structure for thousands of funds controlled by the local agencies and institutes of all levels of local social security. So it is impossible to invest at the local level. And the fourth one is portability is too bad, just as what I said. People could not move nationally. The national labor markets could not be set up very well. This is fourth. Fifth one is efficiency of funds use is too poor. On one hand, financial transfer have to be needed from all levels into the to subsidize the public pension system, because nearly in half of the provinces' pension spending outpaces the revenue. It means half of the provinces run a steady deficit. Half. But on the other hand, another half of the provinces are very developed. They have a surplus every year, but the huge and the growing fund surplus get only less than 2% return rate, lower than CPI rate, lower than inflation rate, and much lower than the social average wage growth rate, which means the welfare loss is very huge, according to the Samuelson and Aaron law. It means the replacement rate is going down. So we are facing a trade-off. It means more financial transfer, more surplus, and more loss. But we have to transfer to the half provinces with deficit, in order to provide the pensions to the workers. So from the year 1997 to the year 2012, all the financial transfer together are more than 1.3 trillion yuan. It stands more than two-thirds of the total accumulative balance. The balance of the last year is 2.3 trillion yuan. This is a typically poor efficiency of funds use in terms of macro economics. This is a table. This is a table from the year 2002 up to the year before last year. This is number of provinces with deficit. The number is decreasing. From the year 2029, provinces decreases to the number 14, half. Altogether, we'll have 31 provinces. So half run deficit, and half with surplus. And the accumulated balance billions. This is the reserve, accumulated reserve. This is annual financial transfer billion. No. Now, in the year, 10 years ago, it is only more than 40 billions, but now over 200 billions. So transfer, the amount of transfer is increasing. It is increasing. And this is pensioners. This is pensioners. This is annual spending. This is annual spending. This annual spending. So the last one, I would like to give you a new idea about the pension reform in China. In fact, we have two ideas. The first one is we don't touch the structure of the public pension in urban areas. We just increase the managed level, the social pooling level. It's okay. First, we should increase to the provincial level, and then in some years we just enhance to the national level. If we achieve this goal, yes, many things, many issues could be resolved, like the inefficiency of fund use and very bad polity. Portable is very bad, or many things, many issues could be resolved, and this is easier map road. And we have another one. We just reformed the structure of the public pension scheme. We reform it into NDC. That's to say, we put the individual accounts. We put the contributions by employers into individual accounts to enlarge the individual accounts in order to put more actuarial components in order to break the linkages from the local government with the pension assets. Otherwise, the local government look the pension assets as their interests. So they are reluctant to hand it over to the central government. If we put all the assets contributions into the individual accounts, it's okay. They are private equities, private ones, private assets. So there's nothing to do with local government. So this is the map road reform the structure of the public pension system. So this is NDC idea, new idea. Now China, in China, but for the rural area, we have another reform idea of actual area methods. This is the upper table is the older one, the older contribution formula, and the bigger formula, the bigger table is a new one. This new idea about the reform is underway. Yeah. This is also NDC, but via the government bonds, via the government bonds. Anyway, in fact, it is NDC too. This is urban pension reform map road, NDC, designed by our team, by CAS, Chinese Academy of Social Sciences. Because of time is very limited, I will give up. Otherwise, my colleagues they have little time to present. That's all for my presentation. Thank you very much.
Bueno, agradecemos al señor Bingwen por tan detallada explicación. Digo, hablar de China es muy difícil hablarlo en corto tiempo. Obviamente es un país muy grande, con mucha gente, pero pudimos ver varios aspectos y varios puntos importantes de su presentación. Obviamente una historia de la evolución de las pensiones desde 1949, su situación actual y logros de las pensiones, las tres ramas de los activos de pensiones, los dilemas y desafíos del sistema rural y urbano, y una nueva idea acerca de la reforma que compartió con nosotros. Les recordamos a todos los presentes, por favor, si tienen alguna pregunta, acercarse a las personas que nos están apoyando para ponerlas por escrito. La idea es, después de terminar con la siguiente presentación, vamos a poder exponerlas y cada exponente le va a tocar dar la respuesta. Ahora con nosotros tenemos a Pieter Vanhuysse, que nos va a hacer una presentación de cómo ha evolucionado el sistema europeo y obviamente el impacto del adulto mayor